y'all think on a scale of 1 to 10, how dire is it that as a community we receive some level of financial literacy, learning, training, support on a scale of 1 to 10?
With 10 being the absolute most important.
Most. Yep.
999,000. That's my vote.
990. Right.
Vital.
Yeah.
Vital. Rose says 15.
Got to have it.
Scale of 1 10, 15. So she's thinking like, did you all get and Nicole Cameron
in a capitalistic system?
Galen's got 24,000. Queen of Sheba got 26.
Yeah.
Jay High talking about scale of 1 to 10, 100. 10 plus for Rita. Nutty Netty's like 10. Shoshana's like 10 with that 3,000 exclamation points. 100 from Decca. Janice talking about, well, yes,
what up,
John.
Decca? What's happening?
So we need it. Did y'all ever get it?
That's a very good point. Like, in short, no. I can only speak for myself. My example has always been my family and everything. Growing up, I did not, and I also was a child, so there wasn't much that, you know what I'm saying? You want to, the lines between adult and children are what they are, but I was always very aware of money and, the importance of money, but I didn't understand how it worked, except for very, very, very rudimentary kind of things, as in savings account, as in checking account. The stuff that you really need to be enlightened to as a young person, I didn't get, as in investments, stocks and bonds and mutual funds and 401ks and all of those wonderful things, which to me at this point are also very basic. You can get deeper into it. It took me, again, until I was a fully grown man, around the time of my divorce, 2012, when I had to be like, okay, we got to figure this out. What are we doing? And I had to kind of understand money and what I needed to do to get from point A to point B. The fact that it is not personal finance, at least it's not being taught to the extent that it should be in schools. I know in my local school district, you can, what is the word where you can decide to take the class? You can
like an elective.
You can get an elective like for your senior year of some kind of personal finance component. But by the time you're 18 years old, you've already lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of thing that you should be exposed to at a young age. I really firmly believe that we are taught to not talk about money in America for whatever reason, to not discuss what you're doing and how you're doing it. Black people specifically, we, to me, cannot afford that. You know what I'm saying? Once you have learned something, you should be able to share that with your social networks so that everybody can kind of capitalize on your information and your knowledge, because we in a bad situation here, people. You know what I'm saying? The statistics are what they are. I've read so many times that like the average net worth of Black people in 2022 is something like $8,000 or, something crazy like that. It might be less than that. And it might reach zero at some point in the future because we don't have no money. And in a capitalistic system, which is what we got, with no capital, you are going to be on the bottom. So
yeah, I'm gonna push back against that. We ain't got no money. I'm gonna push back against that. So let me first start with the yes, we need financial literacy. My problem is that financial literacy has been dumbed down to checkings and savings accounts. How do you budget and building credit and maintaining credit? Like, that's financial literacy. And I think if that's all we give kids and young adults and even grown adults about financial literacy, we selling them short, because you stop at the wealth creation. A lot of the comments is talking about building wealth and how that's a part of financial literacy, and we're not being taught that, and no one has taught us how to build wealth. And now in the social media area, you got Earn Your Leisure that you find on Instagram and YouTube.
I love those dudes.
You got Professor Keys. Sister used to work with her when she was over at the UNCF building. You know what I'm saying? Now she's blown up doing her thing. So you have people who are now saying there are opportunities for you to become wealthy. Right now, as a community, we have money, but we ain't wealthy.
Facts.
And to the point that you said, John, the Black spending power was at $1.6 trillion
Right.
as a community.
Right.
We ain't poor. We not poor. We look at it like it's money and we spend it, but we don't use it as investments to
Correct.
create wealth. But as a community, we got 1.3. That's more than a lot of nations have.
Right.
So I'm like, there needs to also be a shift in mentality in terms of how we take money, we use money, how we use it for wealth. And also there's this idea that in order to have money, you got to come from money, which is a fallacy. That you need to come from money in order to have money. People don't understand that 80% of the millionaires in America right now are first-time millionaires,
Right.
which means they are self-made, which means they started off middle class, lower class, blue collar, and they utilize stuff like their retirement plan so that
Mhm.
when they retired, their net worth in terms of what they had in the bank, what they had in their retirement, what they had in terms of property, gave them more than $1 million and they became a millionaire. So
Right.
if people, if we don't play the spend now, the instant gratification game, and we go, because we don't like delayed gratification. But if we could hold on our stuff and put a plan in place, everyone you come in contact, if they got a job, they can retire a millionaire. They just need to start the investment piece. If they do it, there's
Right.
no, they can do that.
Right.
But, it's a strategy.
I was going to say, and we can get, I don't want to get too deep and into the weeds about this, but
Go as deep as you
little,
want to go.
well, this is the Straight No Chaser program. Once again, thank you for joining us. But this economy and this culture, and when I'm talking about this, I mean American culture, Western civilization, whatever you want to call it, is literally founded and based on Black debasement, as in the economics of the civilization is built on Black people being on the bottom.
Okay.
So,
And
and we have been taught a certain kind of mentality. We spend, we are consumers, we're not producers. If you were to try to rise above a certain station in American history, you stand a chance of being killed, you know? So the history of Black people with money is one of immense victimization. I have a book, and I'm trying to think of what it's called. I want to say it's called The Color of Money. It came out maybe a couple years ago, and it's like the history of specifically Black banking systems, where Black people tried after the Civil War to build a bank, and white people came in and took advantage of it, destroyed it. People lost all their money, so on and so forth. That history has been that same way. So it's not that we don't know, we are trying. It's like once you get that information, the system kind of shifts because they see you trying to come up and they put you right back down where you were at first. What I'm trying to say is that the system itself is the problem. We are in a capitalistic system. Until we change that system, the system is going to continue to victimize Black people specifically in mass. There's always going to be the exceptions to the rule that somehow manage to, we are fairly
all right,
exceptions
you
to the rule.
say that to say what? Are you saying that we shouldn't attempt to build wealth because
No,
the
absolutely
system is
not. That's
built
not what I'm
on
saying.
Black bodies that's going to try to take advantage of us? What are you saying?
I'm saying that we need to lean in. I'm as anybody who really knows me in real life knows I am not the person to say don't do something. Whatever it is that you do, you need to lean into it more. So instead of being hesitant to learn this kind of information and to share it or whatever, we need to lean into that capitalistic environment and be more entrepreneurial, be more producers instead of consumers, and be a bigger part of the system.
Yeah, Rose was riding to your defense. She didn't like the fact I was questioning you. Shut up, Rose.
Rose, make up your mind. One day it's anti-John, the next is pro-John. I'm kidding. Love you, Rose.